Hello, and welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I'll be your librarian today. So, welcome to the final Tea and New Book Tuesday, which is both exciting and sad, and it's a lot of things. I am feeling a lot of emotions right now. I have for you today. Okay. Let's begin. As we always do. I would explain Tea and New Book Tuesday to you right now, but I doubt this is your first time watching. Just seems unlikely. So let's just forge ahead without that. So my tea for today is an iced tea that I made in the Keurig. So I made the Tazo Zen green tea, which is named Zen for funsies because it has caffeine in it. And like a decent amount of caffeine, not even a little bit, but a decent amount, which I make it hot in the Keurig, and then I toss it with ice in and out of 2 different cups until it's nice and aerated, and then I put a bunch of ice in it. It's my favorite thing. It's so good. I know I have a lot of favorite teas, but this is my favorite iced tea to get from Starbucks. So it's nice to be able to make it in the office and not have to pay as much for it. As that is always what we're looking for, what we're thinking about. Okay. So, moving on. We have so much stuff coming to Mobile Public Library. I don't want you to forget about us just because I'm gone. We have a full slate of computer classes, story times, activities, all these things. Be sure to keep up with our event calendar on our website and on our social media page. Although we can't put everything on Facebook, so, be aware sometimes you want to jump over to our webpage to see all that we're doing. This summer should have a full slate, like a full summer program. We haven't been able to do since 2019. I'm very stoked. But before then, on May 7th is Free Comic Book Day. It'll be celebrated at Main, Moore, and West. You can come by and pick out one of 50 different titles, and they're appropriate for ages 13 and up. I'm not getting any notes about the sound, so I think I'm okay. After that, on Saturday, May 14th, we'll be having the Mobile Literary Festival here at Maine. Everybody's very excited. This is something we spend a lot of time planning and thinking about. There's going to be a pop-up shop from the Haunted Bookshop, because Haunted Bookshop is big part of the planning. We're also going to hear from author Johnny Bernard, and this is the one I at least want to go watch, and I'm thinking about participating in, which is the Pitch Wars, which allows you to pitch your book idea to Negative Capacity Press and see how that goes. So, yeah, all of that stuff is coming up, and it's very exciting. And let's move on. Today's stream, we're going to talk about science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And I have one title that's just sort of noteworthy that I have in there for a special reason. And I'll tell you why when we get there. So, mystery, intrigue, all those lovely things. We are going to do the giveaway. I'm actually going to delay the giveaway until we get further in. And if you're someone who engages in Tea and New Book Tuesday often, you probably know what that means. But we are already ready to move along, to start with our books, our science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Okay. Book of Night by Holly Black. In Charlie Hall's world, shadows can be altered for entertainment and cosmetic preferences, but also to increase power and influence. You can alter someone's feelings and memories, but manipulating shadows has a cost, with the potential to take hours or days from your life. Your shadow holds all the parts of you that you want to keep hidden, a second self, standing just to your left, walking behind you into lit rooms, and sometimes it has a life of its own. Charlie is a low-level con artist, working as a bartender while trying to distance herself from the powerful and dangerous underground world of shadow trading. She gets by doing odd jobs for her patrons and the naive new money in her town at the edge of the Berkshires. But when a terrible figure from her past returned, Charlie's present life is thrown into chaos, and her future seems at best unclear, and at worst non-existent. Determined to survive, Charlie throws herself into a maelstrom of secrets and murder, setting her against a case of doppelgangers, mercurial billionaires, shadow thieves, and her own sister, all desperate to control the magic of the shadows. This got a star review from Library Journal. If you're interested in Book of Night, it comes out May 3rd. All right. There's several this month that I find really interesting, and this is one of them. Sound is working great. Thank you, Jennifer. I do need to know that. Okay. When Women Were Dangerous by Kelly Barnhill. Did I change the thing? No, I didn't. Oh my God. I moved things. And now, why would I move things on the last live stream? Nobody knows. Okay. When Women Were Dragons. There we go. Alex Green is a young girl in a world much like ours, but this version of 1950s America is characterized by a significant event, the mass dragoning of 1955, when hundreds of thousands of ordinary wives and mothers sprouted wings, scales, and talons, left a trail of fiery destruction in their path, and took to the skies, seemingly for good. Was it their choice? What will become of those left behind? Why did Alex's beloved Aunt Marla transform, but her mother did not? Alex doesn't know. It's taboo to speak of, even more so than her crush on Sonia, her schoolmate. Forced into silence, Alex nevertheless must face the consequences of dragons. A mother more protective than ever, a father growing increasingly distant, the unsettling insistence that her aunt never existed, and her new sister, obsessed with dragons far beyond propriety. Through loss, rage, and self-discovery, this story follows Alex's journey as she deals with the events leading up to and beyond the mass dragoning, and her connection with the phenomenon itself. This got star reviews from Kirkus and Library Journal, so if you're interested in When Women Were Dragons, it comes out May 3rd. All right, so I heard the author talk about this next one, and it sounds both bonkers and lovely. There we go. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. After Tova Sullivan's husband died, she began working the night shift at the Sowell Bay Aquarium, mopping floors and tidying up. Keeping busy has always helped her cope, which she's been doing since her 18-year-old son, Eric, mysteriously vanished on a boat in Puget Sound over 30 years ago. Tova becomes acquainted with curmudgeonly Marcellus. Sorry, I just got new glasses and this isn't fun. A giant Pacific octopus living at the aquarium. Marcellus knows more than anyone can imagine, but wouldn't dream of lifting one of his 8 arms for his human captors. Until he forms a remarkable friendship with Tova. Ever the detective, Marcellus deduces what happened the night Tova's son disappeared. And now Marcellus must use every trick in his old invertebrate body can muster to unearth the truth before it's too late. This is from a debut author. It got a starred review on Booklist, and it is one of today's giveaways. So, this comes out May 3rd, but you could have it in your hand as early as tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to read a comment because I'm going to put the giveaway form in the comments. See if that works. I don't know. Okay. It's not the most perfect version of it, but hopefully that will get you there. I may put a cleaner version once I can do it on the computer afterwards. So yes, I have Remarkably Bright Creatures to give away. Let me put this down so I can see. Although holding this up is silly because it's right over there. But you see, I have one. Okay. I also have, I'm giving everything away because it's the end of the show. As you see, my coffers are empty. Next up, I also have to give away These Impossible Things by Salma L. Wardeni. This razor-sharp debut novel of 3 best friends navigating love, sex, faith, and the one night that changes it all. So that comes out June 7th, if you're interested in these impossible things. Next up, I have a nonfiction. It's a memoir called Sea State by Tabitha Lastly. A stunning and brutally honest memoir that shines a light on what happens when female desire butts up against a culture of masculinity in crisis. So that's Sea State. It's a relatively short book, but it's a memoir. And I think this is already out. The next two are not. This one looks very interesting. This is a book one in a series, in a coming series. And this comes out May 17th. It's called The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. And it's embark on an epic journey across sun-dazzled sands and through ancient ruins in this sparkling Arab-inspired debut from the most incredible new voice in epic fantasy. So that's Chelsea Abdullah's The Stardust Thief. And the final one doesn't come out until September. This comes out September 13th. It's called The Great Age Reboot, Cultivating the Longevity Code to be Younger Tomorrow by Michael Roizen. So if you're interested in figuring out how to be younger tomorrow, like 4 months in advance of everybody else, then go ahead and put in for The Great Reboot. I want you to go ahead and put in for every book that you're interested in, because I'm going to try to give away every single one of these books, and I'm going to try to give away a book to every single person that asks for one. I don't know if that's going to work out, especially if you all decide you want the same book and nobody wants any of the other books. But I'm hoping that opening it up so that you can... No, behave. Go there. So that you can ask for multiple books means that if you don't get your first choice, you'll get one of the other ones. So, yes. You can use my overly long link in the comments, or I will add another link at the end of the program. But it's time to move on from our final giveaway to our final books. Okay, going on to Siren Queen by... Oh, okay. Ni Vo is what I'm going with. Maybe? Okay. Luli Wei is beautiful, talented, and desperate to be a star. Coming of age in pre-code Hollywood, she knows how dangerous the movie business is and how limited the roles are for a Chinese-American girl from Hungarian Hill. But she doesn't care. She'd rather play a monster than a maid. But in Luli's world, the worst monsters in Hollywood are not the ones on screen. The studios want to own everything from her face to her name, to the women she loves, and they run on a system of bargains made in blood and ancient magic, powered by the endless sacrifice of unlucky starlets like her. For those who do survive to earn their fame, success comes with a steep price. Luli is willing to do whatever it takes, even if that means becoming the monster herself. This is the other one I'm really interested in, because I'm both interested in, like, the early days of Hollywood, and obviously I enjoy fantasy. So the combination of both is checking my boxes. Also, this got starred reviews from Publishers Weekly, Booklist, and Library Journal, which means it's probably on a short list for among the best fantasy of the year. So if you're interested in Siren Queen, it comes out May 10th. All right, next up is a collection of short stories. Boys, Beasts, and Men by Sam J. Miller. So we have, despite his ability to control the ambient digital cloud, a foster teen falls for a clever con man. Luring bullies into a quarry, a boy takes clearly innumerable revenge through unnatural powers of suggestion. In the aftermath of a shape-shifting alien invasion, a survivor fears that he brought something out of the Arctic to infect the rest of the world. And finally, a rebellious group of queer artists creates a new identity that transcends even the anonymity of death. Sam J. Miller shows his savage wit, unrelenting candor, and lush imagery in this essential career retrospective collection. This got a starred review from Booklist. If you're interested in the short stories Boys, Beasts, and Men, it comes out May 10th. Moving on to The Cherry Robbers by Sarai Walker. New Mexico, 2017. Sylvia Wren is one of the most important American artists of the past century. Known as a recluse, she avoids all public appearances. There's a reason. She's living under an assumed identity, having outrun a tragic past. But when a hungry journalist starts chasing her story, she's confronted with whom she once was, Iris Chappell. Connecticut, 1950. Iris Chappell is the second youngest of 6 sisters, all heiresses to a firearms fortune. They've grown up cloistered in a palatial Victorian house, mostly neglected by their distant father and troubled mother, who believes that their house is haunted by the victims of Chappell weapons. The girls long to escape, and for most of them, the only way out is marriage. But not long after the first Chappell sister walks down the aisle, she dies of mysterious causes, a tragedy that repeats with the second, leaving the rest to navigate the wreckage to heart-wrenching consequences. Ultimately, Iris flees the devastation of her family, and so begins the story of Sylvia Wren. But can she outrun the family curse forever? This got a starred review from Booklist, so if you're interested in The Cherry Robbers, it comes out May 17th. Oh, this is the third one I'm really interested in. I might actually ask for this one from NetGalley, because, yeah, this is, like, very up my alley. Hide by Kirsten White. The challenge: spend a week hiding in an abandoned amusement park and don't get caught. The prize: enough money to change everything. Even though everyone is desperate to win, to seize their dream futures or escape their haunting past, Mac feels sure that she can beat her competitors. All she has to do is hide, and she's an expert at that. It's the reason she's alive and her family isn't. But as the people around her begin disappearing one by one, Mac realizes this competition is more sinister than even she imagined, and that together might be the only way to survive. 14 competitors, 7 days, everywhere to hide and nowhere to run. Come out, wherever you are. This got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, so if you're interested in Hide by Kirsten White, it comes out May 24th. All right. Sleepwalk by Dan Schoen? I don't know. Anyway. Sleepwalk's hero, Will Bear, is a man with so many aliases that he simply thinks of himself as the Barely Blur. At 50 years old, he's been living off the grid for over half his life. He's never had a real job, never paid taxes, never been in a committed relationship. A good-natured henchman with a complicated and lonely past and an LSD microdosing problem, he spends his time hopscotching across state lines in his beloved camper van, running sometimes shady, often dangerous errands for a powerful and ruthless operation he's never troubled himself to learn too much about. He has lots of connections, but no true ties. His longest relationships are with an old rescue dog with post-traumatic stress and a childhood friend who is as deeply entrenched in the underworld as he is, and who lately he's less and less sure he can trust. Out of the blue, one of his many burner phones heralds a call from a 21-year-old woman claiming to be his biological daughter, Cammie. She says she's the product of a long-ago sperm donation. He's certain she's AI. She needs his help. She's entrenched in a widespread and nefarious plot involving Will's employers, and continuing to have any contact with her increasingly fuzzes the line between the people Will is working for and the people he's running from. This got starred reviews from both Publishers Weekly and Booklist, so if you're interested in Sleepwalk, it comes out May 24th. And we have now arrived at our final book, Her Majestys Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This, by the way, is going to be book 1 in a new series. At the dawn of their adolescence, on the eve of the summer solstice, 4 young girls, Helena, Leonie, Nymph, and Elle, took the oath to join Her Majesty's Royal Coven, established by Queen Elizabeth I as a covert government document. Now, decades later, the witch community is still reeling from a civil war, and Helena is now the reigning high priestess of the organization. Yet Helena is the only one of her friend group still enmeshed in the stale bureaucracy of HMRC. Elle is trying to pretend she's a normal housewife. Nymph has become a country vet, using her powers to heal sick animals. And in what Helena perceives as the deepest betrayal, Leonie has defected to start her own more inclusive and intersectional coven, Diaspora. And now Helena has a bigger problem. A young warlock of extraordinary capabilities has been captured by authorities and seems to threaten the very existence of HMRC. With conflicting beliefs over the best course of action, the four friends must decide where their loyalties lie, with preserving tradition or doing what's right. All right, so if you're interested in Her Majesty's Royal Coven, it comes out May 31st. All right, ladies, gentlemen, that is it for me. I gotta say that doing Tea and New Book Tuesday has been one of the highlights of my career. I know one of you nominated me for the I Love My Librarian Award, and that touches me very deeply. I don't know that I've gotten that clear praise from a patron in a long time. So I will never be sorry I did this. I will always rejoice in having done this and recommend it to other librarians. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And I will be around the libraries, so I hope I get to see some of you in person. All right. That's it. I won't see you next Tuesday, but I promise I will think of you then. All right.